Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing okay. Believe it or not, it's only 3 weeks ago I did a video, but I promised on the 11th of June I would come back and give you an update of what's going on regarding the Palisade, the pool, and some other projects that we're working on. Let me first mention to you, I have a lot of notes here today. I want to get this video over quick, and I want to thank everybody. We had almost close to 1,000 views on the last video I did. We usually have about, I'd say about 60 people at the open board meeting, give or take a few people depending on summer or winter. So to have 1,000 views, we're really reaching quite a few people. So thank you so much. I hope this information is helpful to you. And we're trying to give you as much information as possible. So let me get into it. Please stay tuned until the very end. At the end, I will discuss the pool, I will discuss the Palisade, and I will discuss this windfall that I think is a windfall for the building financially. That's going to help us a lot, which I mentioned last time. And the board has voted on it already, so everything's under control. And the board. Tonight I'm meeting with the board again. I'm meeting with the board this evening at 6:30 to discuss the pool and some other matters that are going on in the building. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. As far as the COVID-19 goes, there's some good news there. I'm happy to say that since we spoke last time 3 weeks ago, there's no new cases of any residents that we're aware of. And again, I always say that we're aware of. No one's ever has told us. All of our employees are safe and sound as I speak right now that I know of. Again, we've had no new cases, so we thank God for that. We just put a notice on the, we sent out an email, and there is a notice on the window outside. I believe it's on the bulletin board as well, where you can get tested for COVID-19. So again, I hope that's helpful to you if that's what you want to do, okay? Excuse me. As far as the moving forward, okay, as of right now, the basketball court's still closed. The playground is still closed. The tennis courts we've always kept open since day one. We feel that most of the 99% of the people are playing singles and not near each other. We took a chance, even though there were a few people that were against what we did, but it was proven that it's very hard to get anything off a ball or the surface or something else, So we've heard a lot of mixed information and a lot of things regarding COVID. So some of it's a little bit confusing, but we're going to continue to keep the basketball closed and the playgrounds, etc., just for the very near future. If things continue to go in the direction they're going right now, I'm sure they'll be opened up pretty soon. But again, we're not taking any chances, and where it's better safe than sorry position. We'll continue to do that. Regarding wearing masks, I still see some people taking the elevators without masks. I just don't understand it. Okay, that's not a hard thing to do. Okay, again, it's really respecting your neighbors. If you're not a believer, we went through this last time, and I know I'm repeating myself. That's your right to believe in anything you want. I'm not telling anybody how to believe, but regarding wearing a mask, it's a lot of people feel very uncomfortable. People feel very uncomfortable with many people in the elevator. We're just asking you and urging you to please respect how people are going. The building has worked very hard to keep it safe here, and we will continue to do that in the near future. The valet is opened again from 10 to 6 every day. We have continued to deliver the packages. We are going to continue delivering the packages for the near future again, just to keep things, as many people off the elevator as possible. And I want to go into that for 1 second, and some of the things that we've done, and some of the reasoning behind it and what's going on here. Okay, security. Okay, security is primarily delivering these packages at this point, and that puts a lot of pressure on our security here. There's no question about it. In the summer, for example, I'd like to see security in the back more often, particularly from 5:30, 6 o'clock at night on until 9, 10 o'clock, because there's a lot of kids playing back there. There's a lot of activities, and we've always put an emphasis on having security go back there more regularly in the summer. But based on the fact that we're delivering packages, based on the fact that these security guys, we leave the doormen for breaks, for dinners. Of course, they go into the garage. They do the rounds in the garage, etc. it's putting a lot of pressure on the security here. So myself, along with Chris Murphy, uh, we're discussing other ways of relieving some of this, okay, to make the building more secure. We may make some different arrangements delivering packages, especially the ones that come in late in the day. We may have to start delivering some of those overnight to give security more of an opportunity to do their rounds. There are rounds in this building. They do stairwells, they do garages, they do all kinds of different places, all right? So, excuse me. We're going to continue doing that. Security's done a great job. We're very happy. We continue to wipe all the buttons off. We continue to wipe the handles off, and we do that every several hours and throughout the building. Um, as you can see, some of the brass where you push the buttons look a little smudgy and a little foggy, but that's because all these machines that we're wiping our hands with, all these antiseptics, etc., are getting on the brass. So we'll try to clean that a little better too as well. But again, we have a lot of people juggling in here. There's people on vacations. There are people that we've had quite a bit of overtime over the last few weeks. The cleaners, the valet downstairs is open again from 10 to 6 at this particular point. And again, we don't want them handling packages right now. Eventually, we'll get back into that. We have made some other changes to the package room downstairs where there'll be more room in it. So we took advantage of that while we've been closed. We're allowing contractors back in the building, but we're doing it in a different way that we used to do it. We used to have 15, 17 contractors at a time in this building. Right now, as I speak to you, we have 6 in the building. We have 2 people that started over 3 months ago, completely demoing their apartments. They had no kitchens, no bathrooms, etc. So those 2 apartments, we let them continue to put their apartments back together again. It's not fair. They were not living here. They were living in other places. So that was allowed, and we're kind of letting people, if somebody needs a toilet, we're letting that person go. The next day, if somebody needs a new vanity, we'll let the vanity. So we're kind of juggling it. We're not doing it the way we used to. We're limiting it. The reason we're limiting what's going on, again, there's a lot of people that are still home, working at home. We're trying to be conscious of who's working at home and trying to keep the building as quiet and as peaceful as possible. We're also doing work on 2 terraces here that needed work very badly, and both of those terraces should be finished in about, I'd say, a week to 10 days. We'll be finished with both of them. They're both major jobs, and I'm sure you see scaffolding, etc., where we're doing that work. Okay. We allowed the cleaners back in the building, cleaning personnel, to clean your apartments. I knew some of the people that really needed these cleaners, and to be honest with you, I felt pretty bad because some of these people are elderly and very sick, and it must have been very hard on them, and I apologize. But the cleaners are back, and providing that there's no spikes or any problems, I don't see any problems coming up. But if there is, we're going to start limiting what we're doing here again. We want to keep the building safe. I say that a few times. Realtors are allowed back in the building with the following provisions. Any realtor that comes here with a customer, only the realtor and 1 customer is allowed to go up on the elevator at a time. We're not going to have somebody coming up here with the whole family and a whole bunch of people. All the realtors and their clients must be wearing masks and have to wear gloves, okay? And we're being very, very conscious of that. They also have to fill out forms before they enter the building, indemnifying the building from any lawsuits in the event of catching the COVID-19, which a whole other subject we'll get into with the pool and some of the common areas here. This has become a tremendous problem for the building. In order to use the pool, the community room, the card room, the game room, anything in the future, you're going to have to sign a waiver here. You're going to have to sign an agreement that the building's not responsible. This is what's happening legally, okay, in the country. Believe it or not, our insurance policy, which expires at the end of June, had provisions in there where we were covered for such a situation, okay? Come July 1st, all of the new insurance policies, not just ours, everybody's, you won't be covered anymore because of what's happening. So the bottom line is that it's an inconvenience, especially for the management in the building, to make sure everybody signs a waiver when they go into all these places, okay? And all the common areas here, that you may use, sky rooms, etc. So bear with us. This is not us. This is all legal demands that are being made of us to do. Okay, this is a pretty lengthy thing. We're trying to cover ourselves. As you know, people could sue for anything, and we want to make sure that we're always covered. The valet, I mentioned, contractors, we're slowly letting back in the building. Okay, we're limiting how many we do at once. Tonight I'm meeting with the board, okay? Tonight I'm meeting with the board, and we're going to discuss the pool. The one thing I always said was, please, 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 Mr. Governor, okay, when you allow us to open pools, if you do one or two things. This is my personal opinion, by the way. I'll discuss it with the board. Some of you may agree with me. Some of you may disagree. If you're going to open the pool, open it where you're limiting us to some very minor changes, okay? Or don't open the pool at all. That's my opinion, okay? So the governor, and again, this is not political, by the way. This is just a fact, all right? I'm not getting into politics. The governor was in a march last week with like 1,000 people in New Jersey walking shoulder to shoulder. That worked out for him. But when you go to the pool, I'm going to give you a couple of examples, all right? Number one, all the chairs have to be 6 feet apart, okay? I have the numbers here. For example, around the whole perimeter of the pool, a lot of people said, on the fence where the tennis court is, or where the trees are, or the other end where the where the 200 building is, where the tennis courts are. We normally could put about 90 chairs, 90 lounge chairs around the whole pool area. Now we can only put 30 lounge chairs around. That's 1/3 of what normally we could do. Okay, in the main deck area, we normally could put about 100 lounge chairs there. Now we could put about 45 lounge chairs there. Underneath the canopies, we could put under the 2 canopies approximately 80 straight chairs, okay? Now we're going to be limited to put 34 chairs there. So we're only putting out 1/3 of the chairs that we normally use, all right? So this is already putting a lot of pressure on everybody here. That's just my opinion. I will say to you that in the original rules, which we've never really enforced, okay, it says you cannot save chairs for anybody, okay? This year, you can't save chairs for anybody. You can't go down and start putting towels on chairs at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and your friend comes down, or your neighbor, or whatever, at 11, 11:30. Either you use the chair or give it up. It's not fair. We're going to have limited chairs, and if everybody runs downstairs at 10 o'clock in the morning, by 11 o'clock, there may not be any chairs left down there. I'm asking you to please, work along with that. No noodles, no toys in the pool, okay? I'm not going to go into all the other regulations at this point when we set up the pool passes, etc. And this is all predicated, by the way, whether or not the board tonight even approves the pool use, the use of the pool, okay? Some of you could be getting outraged right now, but there's a lot of rules, okay, that were put into place by the state of New Jersey and the CDC. There's rules that you won't believe. I'll give you one of them right now, which is like incredible, which we're not going to enforce because we can't, okay? You have to stand 6 feet away from everybody in the pool. It's impossible, okay? It's impossible. You're in the middle of the shallow end, and you want to work your way over to the staircase to get out. What are you going to do? Start telling people to move to your left and you move to your right? It's going to be almost impossible to do, okay? Some of it is going to be impossible for us, and some of it is fairly easy. Ask you not to use a noodle or throw a ball in the pool or things like that. That's pretty easy. Your chairs, keeping it 6 feet apart, again, that's not going to be very pleasant. But again, you're only hearing some of the rules. What we're going to probably do is we're going to ask people, I'm going to have the manager send an email out telling people they have to sign a form. You cannot use the pool unless you sign a waiver, a legal waiver, okay? And this is all, again, done by a lawyer. And we've been recommended by a lawyer, by the way. I want to let you know, our lawyer recommended we don't even open the pool, to be honest with you, okay? We've been recommended by some of our managers here, and I'd rather not say who. Please don't open the pool, okay? There's a kind of a joke here that some of you may not find funny. I'm a big pool guy. I always loved the pool. Starting next month in July, I'll be a 41-year resident here, and I've gone to the pool thousands of times here in my lifetime. So I always enjoyed the pool, but myself and particularly Chris Murphy, we always got a big kick every year about the pool. Every every May would say, oh no, the pool's opening. Because the pool's a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of, there's always some drama at some point or somewhere, okay? This year there's going to be a lot of drama. So we're going to try to keep it to a minimum. But I've been urged not to open the pool because of all these CDC rules and all the state rules. So we're asking people to please cooperate with us. And if people don't cooperate, this all falls apart, then, we're just going to close the pool. I mean, it's as simple as that. We don't have the man. We can't start hiring 5 or 6 people to start, policing the pool. And we're not going to have these lifeguards, these young kids being abused out there. We're just not. So we're going to try to work this out. You're going to have to sign this agreement. We're going to make it easy for you. Then somebody overnight will drop off those little 2020 stickers. Okay, you'll have to put on your ID card. You won't need any stickers for your guest passes because guests will not be allowed this year. They won't be allowed because there's a lot more people that aren't going to camps, etc. And they're not going to be allowed because legally we don't want to subject ourselves to any lawsuits or any problems with anybody, okay? So we're going to be doing that. So we'll know more about the pool in the next couple of days, okay? Getting to the next subject, I'm sure you're all curious about, is the Palisade. Yesterday we spent about 4.5 to 5 hours of mediation. Bear in mind the mediation isn't just 300. The mediation is 300 and 200. So in order to make this deal happen, in order to go pretty far with this, both buildings have to agree on the deal, and certain parts of the deal anyway, okay? I will say to you, I can't go into a lot of it again, which is really too bad because we did not come to a conclusion yesterday. This is going to be, again, mediation will continue next Thursday on the 18th of June. That mediation will take place purely between lawyers. I will say to you, the Palisade claims that they lost $500,000 last year, which would mean about a $30 increase per unit here. I know factually that 200 has said they absolutely will not give the Palisade any raise whatsoever. I would assume that most of us would not agree to give a $30 increase. That's almost, that's like a 90% increase, okay, in our dues to the Palisade. So we're working on a resolution. We're working on a resolution which may wind up us having to put our own gym in, which we've discussed. And we have it in progress now. So I'd rather not go into that too deep. I've been urged by our lawyer again not to get too involved until we have this agreement worked out, and I think most people here would understand that. But I will say we met with him, and it's an unfortunate situation. I've said it before and I say it again. It would have been very, very simple to go with the deal that we have. We do have a deal. They do get an increase every year. It's not 200 or 300's fault that there's a shortfall down there. It's not our job because they don't have the outside members they used to have. And there's a few buildings that used to be involved with the Palisade that are no longer involved with the Palisade. We're kind of innocent bystanders. We signed a 99-year deal. I believe we have over 50 years left on this deal. So there's two things that we have to worry about. Okay, one of it is how much money can we work out with the Palisade to help us out, whether putting a new gym in. And of course, B, what do you plan on doing with that property down there? So those are the two big focal points. Anybody wants to speak to me personally about it, I have no problem. I'll discuss that further, okay? So the Palisade, once again, you'll be hearing more about that in the next 10 days or so. I'll give you updates. I know there's quite a few people in the building that are very, very interested in that. The other subject I want to discuss, okay, I want to make sure we get everything here, I'm sorry, is the Palisadium, okay. We wanted to discuss that. The terrorist work we discussed, there's a few, couple of people make comments here that I find interesting. And I say a couple, I'm saying 2 or 3 people. We've had the comment, where's my rebate? What rebate? I'm not getting the gym. Do I get a rebate? I think I mentioned this last time and I want to mention it again, okay? Even though we're not using the Palisade, our agreement, and I want to emphasize this, was signed in 1975, okay? Long before I was here and probably 95% of the people in this building, okay? That agreement said the following. if the Palisade should burn down up to the ground and we can't use it, we don't have to pay him anymore. Outside of that, we have to pay him. We are negotiating now. We're putting the money in escrow with our attorney. I've been doing that since April, May, and June. We have over $90,000 in escrow right now. We also asked for a rebate for 2 weeks in March because the Palisade closed on March 16th. So we're asking for a rebate there. The Palisade is claiming that our agreement calls for them to be paid, and they want at the very least their insurance paid and some of their, their taxes paid as an opening. And we'll see where that works out. That'll be part of hopefully the settlement that we make, and that goes with that. Also, we've had a tremendous amount of increases in expenses here too regarding amenities. Okay. It's really been the Palisade, and even the pool, for example. Of course, you missed the pool for the past, I guess it'll wind up being about 4 or 5 weeks you won't have the pool. The pool costs each unit on here approximately $60 a unit for the whole summer, okay? So it's not like you're losing a lot of money, but I can assure you, between the overtime that we have here, the sanitizing machines that we have here, cleaning all the buttons off, and all the stuff that we're doing here with the, with all the stuff we're doing to keep this building safe, especially with the overtime, the packages, I can go on all day. We spent substantially more money than you have out of your pocket for the pool or some of the other things. So it's all going to be in the budget. But anyway, at the very, very end, this is something I'm very, very proud of because I wanted to save some good news to the end. I think it's tremendous news. Some of the unit owners are going to question this, and I'll tell you what they're going to question at the end, okay? There was a program put up by the government. It's called PPP, okay, Payroll Protection Plan, okay? The government offered this to businesses, all right? We then, what happened was when it came out, the first day it came out, I discussed this with our attorney, Hubert Catullo, okay? Hubert said that we were eligible to apply for this money, okay? After getting the okay from our lawyer, I then sat down with Chris Murphy, and Chris went into action here, so I want to thank Chris tremendously. Some of the people, there were misconception with Chris Murphy too, and I want to straighten that out. Chris Murphy is the resident manager here at this point, okay, along with Steve. But Chris Murphy has managed buildings for 20 years already, okay? Chris Murphy knows the payroll inside out. He does the payroll, and he's a tremendous asset to the building. So he took the ball and said, Chris, take this ball. Please go in this direction. See what you can do, okay? He worked on this day and night for about, literally, for 2 days. It was 139 pages of paperwork he had to put together. So I want to thank him again, okay? Bottom line is we went to Valley Bank, we put all the paperwork in, and I'm proud to say, very, very proud to say, again, I don't think anybody's ever done this in the history of the building. We got $495,000 from the United States government, okay? This is tremendous. We got $500,000. Being on the board, and I said this to the board, if somebody on the board came to me and said, Roger, you're not going to believe this, I just got $25,000 for the building because we're going to put an antenna on the roof for a year, I would slap that board member on the back and say, hey man, tremendous job, okay? I'm not asking anybody to slap me on the back, but I'm just telling you, $500,000, tremendous. The way it's been structured, originally we were going to have to pay, we had 8 weeks to use it on our payroll, which we could have done simply, and we would have kept $395,000 and had to repay $100,000. The money was given, let me explain the whole deal to you. The money originally was given to us, it was a 6-month loan, okay? Interest-free loan, by the way, okay? And if you used 75% of the money on your payroll, you could keep the money. So we had it all worked out. Since we made that deal, they extended it now to 24 weeks, okay? And if you use all the money is not repayable to the government. So we picked up $495,000, which means in dollar cents, no one in the building is going to start getting checks, but people in the building, once again, is going to profit from this, whether it's hallways, whether if at some point we do a gym, whether it's maintenance increases, which we assume at this particular point. After all these years, it's unheard of anyway. About 14, 15 years now, we haven't had a maintenance increase. We probably will have no maintenance increase again this year. We definitely would have had one this year. I've been saying for 5 years now we're having one every year. I keep saying that. Next year we're going to have a maintenance increase. And we always seem to pull a deal off or manipulate something so we didn't have to. This year there was nothing left until this deal came apart. So I want to say thank you, Chris. I want to kind of thank myself. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Most associations, I'm just telling you this, and again, I am bragging, sorry. Most associations did not take advantage of the PPP plan. They didn't know they were qualified for this. So this was a heads up. We have $500,000 more in the bank than we did the last time I spoke to you. We're still working on the hallways, which we're probably going to start putting together sometimes in September, October. Our balance now is somewhere around, I'm going to say $7.8 million, 7.8, okay, million. We should have close to $8 million by September, October. We should have in excess of $8 million. This is absolutely tremendous. Before I end this, I'll tell you why it's tremendous. The people that haven't listened, because we have so many viewers at this point, okay? We've done the P-tax for over $3 million. We've done the facade for almost $3 million. Okay, that's 6. We have a new generator for $850,000. We have new elevators that cost us 1.2, 1.3. I'm not going to keep going on and on and on. We've spent a lot of money here in the last 8 years, and we're still sitting on $8 million. No maintenance increases, no assessments. I don't think there's many buildings that could, brag about something like that, so I am. So anyway, I want to thank the residents. We've had tremendous residents. I've had tremendous feedback on these videos. And just say, stay safe. We're going to keep working as hard as we can, and I'll keep you updated. I hope the Palisade can work out. I hope the pool goes smoothly this summer. And I doubt very highly, I'm going to speak to the board tonight again, that I would recommend to the board, I don't know how they feel about it, that we should skip the barbecue this year, and we should do things to keep us as safe as possible. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.